Hey everyone, this is Renier. Welcome to a new lesson. And today we have a very old game by David Bronstein against Georgiou, played in the Petropolis Interzonal from 1973. The reason I'm going to show this game is because in one of my recent tournaments I had a similar position in the middle game to this game, and it reminded me of the idea that I had studied previously, and we're going to compare both games. I think we can learn something from it. So without any more talk, let's start with the game. Okay, the game is a nadir variation, bishop g5. Back in the old days this was the main move against the nadir variation. Now of course bishop e3 is known to be the main weapon, although bishop g5 is coming back to popularity. Okay, after e6, f4, knight bd7, and Bronstein played a move that is not the main move, however in recent days is catching up again. It's queen e2. It's a very interesting idea because white wants to play g4, bishop g2, castle queenside, and start the kingside attack with the march of the kingside pawns. And of course there is always some possibilities of playing an advance in the center, let's say e45 or f5 in some cases, and another ideas that we're going to see later in the game, connected with the position of the queen on e2 and the black king on e8. Okay, of course black can continue here with queen c7. It's the most precise move, preventing e45. So castle, and now b5. Alright, now first critical point in the opening. It's not a huge moment to think about this, but white can choose between a3 and g4. Both moves are possible. The move a3, it's very interesting because it keeps the knight on c3 and delays a little bit black's counterplay on the queen side. However, the move g4, I have analyzed it and is perfectly playable. And after b4, knight d5 with complications that I think are promising for white, but of course black has defense. I'm sure. There is a famous game, Jovava with white, that he lost against Karyakin. In any case, g4 seems to me less clear than a3. It's more violent, but the consequences are not so clear. So we're going to study this move here that Bronstein played. The move is a3. He takes his time, Bronstein, and prevents b4, but also invites black to play rook b8, which is a very natural move. Rook b8, now that there is a break point with b5, b4. And okay, after rook b8, I would say I would prefer bishop b7. This would be a normal idea, and then g4, black can play bishop e7, for example, and it's still a game, a complete different game from what we are seeing today. So, but the move rook b8 is natural. And now I want you to take a close look to this position, because here Bronstein's idea is revealed. He goes knight d5. Believe it or not, because of the rook on b8, this sacrifice is very strong, because after e takes d5, force, e takes d5, white will get the c6 square for the knight, and it's impossible for black to play knight b8 as a resource to get rid of the knight on c6. So in the whole complicated position of after this sacrifice, the rook on b8 really makes a big difference in black's defense. Now after bishop e7, knight c6. Okay, strengthening mate. So knight b6. White has a huge compensation for the piece. He's not really interested in getting up some material with knight takes b8. Of course, let's have a look at some alternatives just to see how big is White's compensation. For example, knight b6 is probably the only move. Other moves like knight f8 allows White to take on f6, g takes on f6. Now the structure is completely ruined, and then after rook e1, knight g6, knight takes b8, queen takes b8. Now the material is about even, but it's because of Black's horrible pawn structure and the horrible coordination of that he has with his minor pieces, that he cannot use his material. Now a move like, for example, g3 is very difficult to play with Black. The idea of h4, h5 is very, very strong. Just look that even if he castles after h4, he cannot play. He had to play something like rook e8 and h5, knight f8 or knight h8, and still he's not developing anything. White can play queen e3, bishop d3. Also in the game that we're looking at, White chose to play queen e3, and it's still pretty good. Queen c7, bishop d3. Also interesting, like I said before, h4 for example, to force new weaknesses in Black's camp. After h5, g3. Idea of bishop h3 or rook h2, rook e2, followed by bishop d3 and rook h2 and rook e2. It looks like White has very, very pleasant game. The game continuation is not bad either, just bishop d3, normal move, bishop b7, and then h4, h5, bishop takes g6, and queen e4 attacking the weakness on g6. Not easy for Black to defend. Actually, he lost the game rather quickly after f5, queen takes, and rook h3. Fantastic move. Going to c3, where the rook will be very active and will also drive the queen away from the defense of e7. c2 is protected by the queen, so this is a fairly simple position to win. Queen d8, then rook e3. Normal, typical. The bishop on e7 has nowhere to go, must be defended, and then White takes on h5, threatening to give a check on h8 and on and on. Then king g8, only move, and now White exploits the pressure on the e file by playing queen e2. The bishop again has no squares. Rook e8 is coming, so king f8 back, and then h5. Basically this is the spirit. Just put pressure, and then Black is the one who has to move, who has to untangle himself from this defense, and it's very difficult. After f5, h6, bishop g5, king b1, and the game was over. Game by correspondent game from 1993. Alright, but that's with knight f8. Of course, knight f8 is not even close to be the best defense, but neither is knight c5. White can apply the same method of attack by just taking on f6, rook e1, and after rook b7, knight takes, queen takes on e7, and now remove the queen from the e file to f2. And if knight e4, White can play queen d4, for example, and it's impossible to play f5. Queen d4, bishop f5, bishop d3. White will gain the piece back with an advantage. Bishop d3 or also g4. So knight e6, f5, and White will win very easily. Okay, so back to knight b6, and bishop takes on f6, g takes, and now g3. Alright, same idea as before. Now the idea is to defend the pawn on d5. That pawn on d5 is very important. So white wants bishop g2, rook h2, e1. Basically, I think, in my opinion, white could have taken the rook already. Knight takes b8, queen takes, and then g3. I like that idea better. Okay, but you have to understand in a position that it wasn't these days where everyone has everything analyzed up to move 25 or 30, even further. Bronstein is playing by instinct here, and his move is perhaps not the most precise, but it's still pretty good. I just say this because this allows black to play rook b7, and after queen h5, castle, rook e1, bishop d8. It's still unclear, but white would be winning in this position. Okay, it still is winning after a move like bishop d3. The attacking prospects are very, very good. Bishop d3, if f5, rook g1 to capture on g5 with check. So white's position is very, very good. I would say winning. Okay, so bishop b7, knight takes b8, queen takes, and now bishop g2. Defends the pawn on d5. Impossible for black to even dream about getting that pawn. And white wants rook h e1, and then to double rooks on the e file. Let's say rook d3, rook e3, or rook d4, rook e4. That's pretty much the plan. Very simple, huh? Just look at the bishop on e7 and the very, very bad pawn structure, and also the black king has no secure shelter anywhere. It's always in the middle of the board. So queen d8, rook h1, and now f5. That's probably necessary move. It would be difficult to do without that move. He might need the f6 square. But anyway, rook d3, and now the threat is rook e3, winning. So black went king d7, trying to escape to the queen side, and now queen h5, attacking both of the pawns, f7 and f5. Of course, black has to run, so king c8, queen takes f5 check, king b8, and queen f7. Now white, on top of all the pressure that he had been putting on, he also has material advantage. You can imagine this position with the pawn on f6. It would be the same thing, just winning because the bishop had nowhere to go. That's why black had to play f5. Now, okay, he has bishop f6, but after rook e3, there is no way to stop rook e8 winning. So bishop takes b2, king takes, knight c4, a way to simplify things, but still white is on top. And now knight takes on e3. Transform the position into something simple with the white king slightly exposed, but nothing really serious. Perhaps a better try was queen a5, but still after queen e6, black is in trouble. The idea is just to defend the rook on e1, so he can move the rook from e3, let's say to b3, and the knight on c4 of course cannot move because of the d6 pawn hanging. So after a move like b4, rook b3, knight takes on a3, queen takes d6, followed by queen takes b4, and white is winning again. Okay, that's just one of the ways. So knight takes on e3 was played, rook takes on e3, then queen b6, rook e8 trades everything, king a7, and now queen e4. No checks for black, and it's just a hopeless position. Queen f2. The game continued this way. f5, king b6, g4, white putting in motion his kingside pawns. a6, bishop f3, so he can advance with f6. Queen h4, and now queen d4 check, taking over the diagonal, so there is no checks on f6 after f7 is played. And after king c7, f7, and black seems to have lost some time, but anyway, after queen e7 or queen d8, queen g7 will decide. Okay, this is a very interesting game. Lots of people know this game, but also there are several others who don't, so I thought that it's a key game in the history of the knight d5 sacrifice that is very popular in many Sicilians, especially in the Najdorf or Spieningham. Okay, this is the critical moment, and this is the position that was similar to what I had in my game that occurred from a complete different variation. Let's have a look at that game now. But okay, you saw this position after rook b8. Let's have a look at my game now. Alright, this game was played in the Calgary International against Erik Hansen, who is a young international master. I was lucky to win. I was winning, then I was losing. It's a fun game, I would say. He plays the knight, and I play h3, also very popular nowadays. e6, of course black has many moves, g6, knight c6, e5. Now g4. Game shapes like a careless attack type of position. Bishop e3, queen c7, bishop g2. My idea is simply to go f4, queen e2 or queen f3, followed by queenside castle. Bishop e7, f4, knight d7. Okay, perhaps I'm not very familiar with the opening moves, I must say. This was the first time that I played this variation, and already here I wasn't sure how to continue. I wasn't sure if I should play h4, for example, because there is a threat there, bishop h4 check. I also consider kingside castle, but that's not my idea. My idea is to play queen e2 or queen d2, or like I said, queen f3 and castle queenside. So I thought I should play g5. And okay, black went knight a5. Okay, I have to close this before people start talking to me. And okay, after knight a5, he's going to c4, so I played queen e2, b5, and then I went queenside castle. And okay, looks like a normal position of the Sicilian defense. If b4, of course, I'm already thinking about going knight d5. So black plays knight c4, king b1. Now my idea is to play bishop c1 followed by b3 and bishop b2. It's possible that the bishop works very well from b2 attacking g7, then can continue with h4, f5 or h4, h5 and create some attack on the king side. So before I'm able to do this, black takes on e3, and after queen takes on e3, it hit me quickly. The position is very similar to the Bronstein's game, and the more I thought about this position, the more I believed that black was already in trouble. I saw the move bishop b7 during the game, but after f5 and e5, knight b3, white has a pleasant advantage. The d5 square, also ideas with h4 and f6 followed by bishop h3, implied sacrifice, sacrificing a pawn to open that diagonal. My guess is that knight b6 can be met with knight a5, controlling the square c4 and going after the bishop on b7. So I believe that this was the lesser evil for black, but white had a nice advantage, I must say. But in the game, my opponent surprised me with the move rook b8, and I started to think. All I could remember was that game, and I had a hard time trying to compare both of the positions. In that position, Bronstein had the bishop on f1, the pawn on h2. His g pawn wasn't on g5, so I had to see the pros and the cons from each positions. His queen was on e2. But anyway, I thought that I should play knight d5, and I did. I went knight d5, thinking about that. It takes e5, it takes, and black's reaction was pretty similar, knight b6. Again, after rook b7 is the best defense, and I would say that white has compensation, of course, after knight f5. Now knight b6, must sacrifice, there is no other way. So knight takes g7, I take some material back, king d8, and now queen d4. It's a good position. I'm threatening knight h5, or not knight h5, just rook h e1. Also knight e6 check, and queen takes on h8. That's the main threat. Okay, I think that black is is on the defensive side, of course, and I can only see improving moves for white. Rook h1, h4, h5, bishop f3 or bishop h5 ideas. It's a position that you have to play by instinct rather than concrete moves. There are no forced variations here. You either see the compensation or you don't. So my opponent goes knight b6, and then after rook h e1 is my plan. He goes knight c4, queen e4, king f8, and now knight c6. Again, the idea repeats itself. My plan is to put pressure on the a file, make him move the bishop so I can get in on the square e8. But after rook b7 we reach the critical position, and the moment in which the game starts going off my hands. I played the move b3, which is not bad, but it's not the best. White has a clear plan. What is it? Rook e2. Well, the plan is to double rooks on the a-file. What's the best way to do it? Rook e2 and rook d2 e1. For some reason, I thought that I could gain a tempo and free my king from a possible back rank trouble, or most likely a check on d2. That was what was bothering me, but that was a misunderstanding of the position. I should have played rook e2. Then black has no time to organize an appropriate defense. For example, after knight a5, I simply go rook e1, and black is lost. My opponent pointed out after the game that he was expecting rook e2, and frankly I analyzed it, but I also saw that the move b3, I could play it. I couldn't see the consequences so clear. So if, for example, f5, I can just take on f6, and after g takes, rook e1, with the plan of going, for example, now I'm playing b3 and knight takes on e7. That's just one of the things that I'm doing. But if he moves the bishop, I can go bishop f3, and my idea is to go queen e8 check, king g7, and rook g1 with mate in a few. King h6, queen h5 mate. That's the idea of bishop f3, to free the g file so you can use it for the rooks. The best defense would have been h6, but still after rook e1, h takes e5, and now queen d3, black is lost. No way to prevent rook takes on e7 or knight takes on e7. Simply lost. Fairly simple win if I had just stick to the plan. Okay, so I decided to complicate the game, so with b3, now he goes knight a5, and things are not so clear anymore. It's still probably good for white, but the plan of doubling rooks on the e-file doesn't work so well anymore, because the knight from c6 will be gone in the next move. I played rook e3, but the best would have been now f5 to hurry things up with f6 on the next move. Now if knight takes on c6, d takes on c6, and after rook b6 I can just play rook d3 with a very good play. Rook e3 next, and or even f6. f6 is already a plan, because after g takes, bishop takes, queen e8, the king moves, and I may have rook g3 ideas. Okay, but now the threat is rook e3 that is winning as well. So, and the move f5, the main thing that it does is that it doesn't allow black to play bishop e6 after he takes on c6. So if a6, then I can play f6. I also keep an advantage with g6. Black's position is so cramped that it's unlikely that he will save this. So, but f6 just wins immediately, and after g takes, queen h4. But as you can see, already white has to find concrete ideas, concrete moves that with little time on the clock are very difficult to find, with the pressure of being a piece down and all that. And after f takes, queen d4, and I'm threatening to take on e7 and to take on h8, so white would be winning. Okay, in the game I played the natural move, I would say, rook e3, normal, knight takes on c6, now I take back, d takes, and then rook a7, the rook stays defending the second rank. And now was my last chance to keep the advantage by playing f5. Then after queen d8, I have queen f4. And again you see that these are very difficult moves. Why would I play queen f4? But it's the only way. Now my plan is to play h4, defending g5, and bishop d5, and after that blocking the d6 pawn. Then I can play rook e1 and prepare the winning rupture with f5, f6. Now if he takes on g5, I can take on d6. He cannot take on f4 because of mate. The only move is bishop d7, and again I would have to find, well, this move is not difficult to find because it's the only one, queen b4. And after a5, queen c5 to keep the diagonal, to keep the threat of lifting the rook from d6. And after bishop e3, rook d7 check, he takes my queen, I take his, king e7, I take back the rook, and we reach an endgame that is better for white. Still, I have to work a little bit, but I'm pretty sure that white should win with that c6 pawn very well protected. Also, no, I'm positive that white should win that. Okay, so I made here another mistake. I played rook d2 e1, following the plan that I refused to follow earlier on move 21, when I played b3 instead of double rooks immediately. Now after queen b6, very good move. It turns out that black is completely okay. My queen is not strong in front of the rooks, so I had to remove the queen. The game is less interesting now. You will see some embarrassing moments right now for both players. Queen c5. I play bishop d5, trying to block everything. If I'm given one more move, I can play f5 and keep some compensation, but okay, that's the idea of queen c5. He controls the f5 square, so I cannot play f5 and bishop f5 is coming, so that's why I go bishop d5. And like I said, I just want to play f5 and keep the compensation, but it's too late. Now black plays g6. Suddenly the king can escape, and bishop f5 is coming, and white is totally lost. So I go queen e2. Okay, taking on d5. I take on e7 with good counterplay. I will say maybe winning even, but black doesn't have to take. Just bishop f5. If I take on e7 now, what he does is that he takes on c2 with a queen, and then he takes on e7 with the rook. That's it. He would be winning that very easily. So I play queen d2, defending the bishop on d5. One of the ideas I think is if he takes on c2 I take, and if he takes on d5 I have c7, promoting the pawn and also taking on e7, but black doesn't have to do anything here. Just advance b4, a5, a6. He doesn't have to move the king, he doesn't have to take the bishop. He has complete control over the dark squares. Also, this b4 move is very good because I'm threatening to play b4 myself right now. I think I am. I'm threatening b4, and even if he takes on c2, then I have king b2. My idea of b4 is to drive the queen away so I can take over the diagonal with queen c3. That was the point of queen e2. What can I do? I'm setting traps for my opponent who has a winning position. So he goes b4, I go rook e2, freeing the queen from the defense of c2 somehow. There is nothing much I can do. I was really lucky to win this game. I went h4, he took on g5, I take back. And of course there are many moves that black can use to win here. The simplest would be rook c7. This would be very simple. Then a5. I don't know. Most important thing is that white has no plan at all. Maybe king g7 at some point. Now with the rook h3 also. Very difficult to suggest a move for white now. But my opponent suddenly played bishop d8, and the game is now lost for black. It's a blunder, a huge blunder in the position. I went rook e8, king g7, rook takes, king takes, and now after rook e8, very simple, I get my piece back with a winning position. Takes, rook e7, some threats along the e and c files, but easy to stop too. Bishop c4, no checks on e1, no pressure on c2 anymore. Queen g1, king b2, rook e1. If only the pawn was on a5, there could be some real threat on b1, but now after queen takes b4, my king easily escapes. Rook b1, king a3, queen takes on c2, and now the simplest, I played queen takes d6, queen takes on a2, and now king b4 leads to a win. But after being lost, I decided to take no chances, and then I play queen a3, which is a cool move, and my opponent resigns. Okay, this was an exciting game in the fourth round of the Calgary International. Then after this game I was 4 out of 4, and then I lost to the Firmian. Okay, hope you enjoyed this game. I think it's interesting, especially what we can learn here is not so much, of course, the last part of the game, neither the opening, but the middle games, especially this position, when what makes you decide when to sacrifice a knight in the center without being forced to. Because okay, if black plays before, and then he's kind of forcing you, but now it's completely at will. I mean, white has choices. White can play h4 and his position would still be very promising. h4, f5, rook h e1 even. Also an idea might be knight f5, but knight f5, I think the problem with knight f5 right here is that he can play bishop f8 and there is no way to force him to take the knight on f5, because okay, e takes on f5 is really dangerous. After knight d5 followed by e takes on f5, then white would be winning, but knight f5, bishop f8 for example. Bishop f8, and there is no way, I think. I considered during the game maybe queen d4 now, but it wasn't so convincing. I think on queen d4 maybe just well, might be interesting now that I look at it. Queen d4 and threatening knight g7. It might be very interesting. He takes on f5, knight d5 followed by he takes on f5, or even this. There is compensation for sure. I'm playing rook h1 check. He cannot develop his bishop from f8. Possibly this position is also lost. Very likely. Okay, but anyway, after knight d5, it takes. Best defense would have been rook b7, though still after knight f5, queen d4, huge compensation for the piece, and then knight b6, rook h e1, knight c4, queen e4, king f8, getting out of the pin. King d8 doesn't help because of knight c6 winning on the spot, so rook b7, and then this is the critical moment of the game. The right way to finish the attack, to finish this Bronstein's inspiration, was to just continue with rook e2. Would have been the correct way to continue the game, and probably winning within the next 10 moves. So okay, so I played b3, and then you saw how things went. Not very pleasant for white. Okay everyone, I hope you enjoyed this video and the rest of the videos that I do. Thanks for watching, and have a happy new year to all of you. Bye bye, and see you next year with a new video.